just making 2 little jumper wires this morning real quick. Thought I'd show you guys how to tin some ends and make that ready to go. So we'll just peel her back just a little and strip enough length because we have another wire that we got to join in, but the place we're making the connection, it's not big enough. This is 14 gauge wire. That's pretty well all she'll fit. So, because it's a small power, we're only talking 65 watts, 1.2 amps, so nothing you need real high. This is overkill, to say the least, but that's alright. Overkill is okay with wiring if you have the room or the money or the space. Actually, I just gotta keep that tip smaller because it won't handle 2 wires. So let me shorten this guy up just a touch. There we go. And make sure the wire that has the white strip is with itself. Positive, positive, and I shorten this one up just a touch too much. Let's just do the positive to positive first. It's pretty nice if you have something like this that can hold your wires while you're doing this. There we go. Turn it so you guys can see. There we go. Clean the tip off. Bring it in here and bring a little solder in. The heat gets transferred via the solder, so you don't want it to. You want it to kind of suck it in, and you'll see it once it gets hot enough that it starts sucking the solder in like that. And there's rosin in there that'll help it. There we go. So, good enough for what it's for. Not the best solder in the world. When you're done soldering for a second, go ahead and put just a little solder back on your tip before you put it away in the holder. That way she cleans easily when you pull it back out. And looks like I have a pretty good connection right there. Let's add this one. Try not to clean up too closely because your insulation, when it gets hot from soldering, will leave the marks of the teeth on there, which obviously creates a bad spot for you. There we go, that one was a lot better. Make sure whatever you're welding or soldering over top isn't too care about the surface, because when that solder hits it, it is hot. So those look really good. Normally I would use a heat shrink tube to tie this off, but unfortunately I don't have any that's big enough to cover. You want it to go across both. So I don't have it big enough, so we'll just do with some electrical tape, which worked just fine. And since we're doing just the connections down on this end, you obviously want it to go into the socket that you're connecting this to far enough, but you don't need it to be too long, so this is plenty long. So we'll just tin these up. When you're doing heavier soldering like this, I mean, this isn't heavy, I guess, but it's a lot heavier than, say, electronics. Well, a stick soldering iron is fine. This is one connected to a base station. The big thing is your heat recovery is a lot faster. So if you're doing a lot of soldering, especially like this, where like tinning the ends of wires and such, it's nice to have a station to get faster heat recovery. So there we go. And that one looks pretty good. And the only reason I do that is just it looks nicer, keeps the wires together, so when you put them in whatever you're putting it in, it goes in easier and is cleaner. So I'm going to do one more, and then this little jumper wire is done, except for a little electrical tape. But I wouldn't suggest these kind of strippers. It's just what I had laying around. Standard strippers is what I would suggest. That, or ones covering glitter, which I don't have either one of those this morning. So I just have to make do with what's due. I'm gonna retwist this up tighter. Again, these sockets I'm putting it in are pretty tight, so a little cleaner, so that it goes nicer. And keep the tip of your soldering iron clean, and you will be in good shape. You let it sit there, not doing anything for a long time, burning the end up, and then you got a junk tip. So don't let it just sit around. It will mess up your tip, especially if you leave it uncovered. Take a little of that off. There we go. Again, a little solder back on there, and put it away. And since that's my last one, I'll go ahead and turn my soldering iron off. I was running about 800 degrees right there to get a quick solder. Something like this, it should work just fine. So that's pretty well it.